defense mechanism of gingiva. The gingival tissue is constantly subjected to mechanical and bacterial aggressions. Saliva, epithelial surface, and the gingival clavicular fluid provides resistance to mechanical and bacterial aggressions. Now, first of all, we will see about the gingival clavicular fluid. Now, gingival clavicular fluid, according to some, it is a transudate. According to some, it is inflammatory exudate. Now, there are different methods of collection of gingival clavicular fluid. It can be collected through absorbing paper strips, by twisted threads, by means of micropipettes, or by gingival washings. The different methods are either through intracellular methods or by extracellular methods. Now, the measurements of the volume of gingival clavicular fluid can be done by staining, weighing, or you can use Bigliotron also. Now, what is the composition of gingival clavicular fluid? Now, SAQ can be asked to you on gingival clavicular fluid. Now, cellular components of gingival clavicular fluids are epithelial cells, neutrophils, monocytes, macrophages, lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and T lymphocytes. Sodium, potassium, calcium are the different electrolytes it contains. Organic compounds are carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. Then different inflammatory mediators are immunoglobulins, that is IgG, prostaglandin, EC reactive proteins, cytokines, interleukin-1, 2, 4, 6, 8, tumor necrosis factor alpha, host-derived enzymes and their inhibitors, bone-specific proteins, then metabolic and bacterial products like lactic acid, hydroxyproline, endotoxins, and different tissue breakdown products. So this is the composition of gingival clavicular fluid. Leukocytes present in the dento-gingival area constitutes the defense mechanism of dento-gingival area. In response to chemotactic gradients, leukocytes move by active locomotion through the intercellular spaces and it reaches the bottom of gingival sulcus. Now, 97% of the neutrophils, they are present in the sulcus, 1 to 2% of lymphocytes, 2 to 3% of monocytes. Now, in the mononuclear leukocytes, T lymphocytes are 24%, B lymphocytes are 58%, and mean T cell to B cell ratio is 1:3%. So, this is about the leukocytes in the dento-gingival area. Now, we'll see about the saliva. Saliva has a protective function and it maintains the oral tissues in a physiologic state. Now, saliva, it exerts a major influence on plaque by mechanically cleansing the exposed oral surfaces, by buffering acids produced by bacteria, and modulating the bacterial activity with immune mediators. Which are the different functions and its salivary components? Now, glycoproteins and mucoids present in saliva gives the lubrication activity to saliva. The probable mechanism is that the coating is similar to gastric mucin. The physical flow of the saliva gives the cleansing action to the saliva. It also gives the physical protection because it clears the debris and the bacteria. Bicarbonate and phosphate present in saliva gives the buffering action to the saliva by which it acts as an antacid. Minerals present in the saliva, it maintains the tooth integrity because the maturation and remineralization of the tooth is possible. IgA, lysozyme, lactoperoxidase present in the saliva gives the antibacterial action. Because it controls the bacterial colonization, it breaks the bacterial cell walls and the oxidation of the susceptible bacteria is possible. Now then the composition of the saliva. Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, bicarbonate, phosphate and the iodine is present in saliva. Major salivary proteins are alpha amylases, acidic proline-rich proteins, basic proline-rich proteins, glycosylated proline-rich proteins, carbonic anhydrases, cystines, mucins, peptide, P. And salivary steroid hormones are cortisol, testosterone, progesterone, estradiol, and the aldosterone. Now, what is the role of saliva in carotid pathology? Saliva, it modulates the plaque initiation, maturation, and the metabolism. Salivary flow and the composition, it also influences calculus formation, occurrence of the carotid disease, and the caries. Now, in humans, with decreased salivary gland secretion, that is, whenever there is a xerostomia, there is an increased prevalence of the cervical and the cemental caries. There is the increased prevalence of the inflammatory gingival conditions, and there is a rapid tooth destruction. Now we'll see what are the stages of gingival inflammation. Now, initial lesions, early lesions, established lesion, and the advanced lesion. These are the stages. But there is no exact as such demarcation. Now, between 2 to 4 days, you can see the initial lesion when there is a vascular dilatation. And you can see that the initial stages, polymorphonuclear cells, they arise at the site. Then there is a perivascular loss of the collagen and there is an increased gingival fluid flow. Now, between 4 to 7 days, there is an early lesion. There is a vascular proliferation and at the epithelial attachment, there is a formation of the reticles. Then lymphocytes, they reach at the site. There is an increased loss of the collagen around the infiltrate. There is an erythema and bleeding on probing of the gingiva. In the established lesion, you can see this lesion on 14 to 21 days. Now, plasma cells, they reach at the site and there is a continued loss of the collagen. Color, size, texture of the gingiva. Now, if this lesion is untreated and whenever there is the involvement of the underlying alveolar bone, it leads to the advanced lesion. Microscopically, you can see the fibrosis of the gingiva and presence of the plasma cells in the connective tissue. Now, my dear students, this table is useful to you whenever you are recording case history in the practical examinations. This table, it shows the gingiva in health and disease. Now, the normal color of the gingiva is coral pink. Now, why this color is coral pink? Because the underlying factor is vascular supply to the gingiva, then thickness and degree of the keratinization of the epithelium. Now, sometimes the color of the gingiva is blackish gray. It is due to the melanin pigmentation present in the gingiva. Now, when there is a disease, chronic gingivitis, that time the color changes to reddish blue or deep blue. Now, depending upon the site of the lesion, it can be either marginal, diffuse, gingivitis. Now, these changes in the color of the gingiva are due to the vascular proliferation, reduction of the keratinization owing to epithelial compression by the inflamed tissue due to the venous stresses. Now, in acute gingivitis, in anal or in HIV gingivitis, there is a tissue necrosis due to which the color changes from shiny slate gray to the dull whitish grey. Now, the normal contour of the gingiva is scallop and knife edge of the marginal gingiva. In the interdental papilla in the anterior region, contour is pyramidal in shape. In the posterior region, it is pen-shaped. Now, this contour is due to the shape of the tooth. It is due to the alignment in the arch, location and size of the proximal contact, and due to the gingival embrasure dimensions. Now, whenever chronic gingivitis is present, when the inflammatory changes are there, the marginal gingiva contour changes to old and rounded. Interdental papilla becomes blunt and flat. Now, in anal, the contour gets changed because of the punch-out crater in the interdental papilla. Now, in Stillman's cleft and Macaul's fistulas, these lesions are due to the trauma occlusion. There is an alignment of the interdental papilla and the marginal gingiva. Stillman's cleft are the apostrophe-shaped indentations and Macaul's fistula lifesaver like enlargement. Now, normal consistency of the gingiva is firm and resilient. This consistency is due to the collagenous nature of the lamina propria. It is due to the cellular and the fluid contained in the tissue. Now, when chronic gingivitis is present, there is an infiltration by fluid and the inflammatory cells. Now, in disease condition, the consistency can be either exudative or it can be fibrotic. Now, when there is a fibrosis, consistency becomes fibrotic. Now, when there is a degeneration of the epithelium and when there is a infiltration by fluid and inflammatory cells, the consistency becomes exudative. Soggy, puffiness, pitting on pressure, marked softness and pliability, and firm and leathery consistency is present. Now, usually in oral or in viva patient, it is asked what is the size of the gingiva. Size of the gingiva, it is the total bulk of cellular and intercellular content along with its normal vascular supply. Now, whenever there is a gingival enlargement, there is an increase in the size of the gingiva. It is due to the increase in fiber component and decrease in cellular component. Now, surface texture. Now, in surface texture, in practical examination, you have to demonstrate the stippling present. How to check for the stippling? Now, you have to take the cotton, you have to dry the entire gingiva, and in daylight, you have to examine for the elevations and the depressions present on the entire gingiva and on the interdental papilla. Why this stippling is present? It is due to the attachment of the gingival fiber to the underlying bone. Microscopically, papillary layer of the connective tissue projects into the elevation, and that's why this stippling is present. Now, in disease condition, like when exudative chronic gingivitis is present, or when fibrotic chronic gingivitis is present, or when dysphanetic gingivitis is present, this stippling is lost, and the gingival surface becomes smooth and shiny. In dysphanetic gingivitis, peeling of the surface is present. Now, there is a destruction of the gingival fiber as a result of the inflammation. Now, position of the gingiva. Usually, it is 1 millimeter above the C junction because the position of the tooth in the arch, the root bone angle, and the mesiodistal curvature of the tooth. Now, when the gingivalization is present, when pseudopockets are present, this gingival position either it changes to coronally placed or apically placed. Now, which factors are responsible for change in position? Either toothbrush trauma because of the high penile attachment, because of the tooth malposition, or friction from the soft tissue. Because of these different factors, the position can be changed. Now, we'll see the next clinical feature, that is bleeding on protein. Normally, bleeding on protein is not present because there is an intact circular epithelium and normal capillaries. But when disease condition is present, like chronic gingivitis, and or when any systemic diseases are present, bleeding on protein is present. Now, this bleeding on protein is present because there is a dilatation and the engorgement of the capillaries, and there is a thinning and ulceration of the circular